We're being born and adopted sons and daughters of Christ in a very legal sense, in a real sense. And like that's the nature of the eternal realm. That's the nature of the order of the Son. Is that
well? This is
how these blessings are administered.
Well, this is, we don't normally think about it like this, but this is essentially what happened with Abraham. And why is Abraham such a highly or often used example? Well, one, the promised blessings that were given to Abraham, but are those exclusive to Abraham? No, absolutely not. Like those blessings have been promised to patriarchs and righteous leaders all throughout time. But what was so amazing about Abraham was that when you study the book of Abraham, you learn that Abraham was seeking these blessings. He wanted righteousness in his life, and yet his direct fathers, his direct ancestry was not righteous. They were not living up to the standards and expectations that the Lord had established. And so what did Abraham have to do? Well, essentially, he had to go out into the wilderness after escaping. He had to go out into the wilderness and find, he sought after and found these eternal blessings that he was after, and essentially had to receive them through adoption, more or less, meaning he did not receive these blessings through his birthright lineage that one might normally expect, but actually had to go and obtain them elsewhere. So even Abraham was kind of adopted in. And that's why he's such an oft-used example, because that's exactly what happens to us, right? Is that we get adopted in to these great patriarchal blessings that the Lord has in store for those who choose his ways and his path.
And then we receive the instruction here that all laws which God gives us are, in fact, spiritual laws. So all things unto me are spiritual, and not at any time have I given unto you a law which was temporal. Okay, well that doesn't seem right. There's been quite a few temporal laws given, haven't there? Well, what he's saying is those are applications of spiritual law. This makes me think, like, there's a quote by Joseph Smith where he says, revelation is always received in the abstract. So you receive revelation in the abstract, but then how do you communicate that in words? Well, you do the best you can. How do you apply that revelation in an institution of men? Well, you do the best you can. Okay, you communicate it the best you can, and then you follow up and act on it the best you can. That's right. That's the nature of a church of men, right? That's what the Lord has to work with. We're the best he's got. Okay? But the point is that all laws are predicated on principles, on spiritual principles. So you can say, okay, tithing, that's very much a temporal law, but it's really a spiritual principle. Okay, there's principles of self-sacrifice. There's principles of consecration, of contributing to Zion, of recognizing the kingdom of God on the earth, the priesthood on the earth. It's a spiritual law that has a temporal application for us. Right? There's a temporal consequence or action that we do based on that spiritual law. But the law itself is spiritual. It's established on principles, eternal principles. Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.